first the law of polarity. Okay? Now the law of polarity. Now, this is my favorite law because this law actually does so much for your mental health you don't even know. The law of polarity basically is when things are opposites, they connect. So when there's good, there's also bad. When there's negative, there's also positive. If there's hot, there's cold. Feel me? If one exists, the counterpart must also exist. You see what I'm saying? So if something can be hot, something can also be cold. If something can be good, something can also be bad. You see? You get what I'm saying? Okay? Okay. Now, the way to use the law of polarity in a way that benefits you is if you have a negative thought or something that happens negative in your life, you control your perception. So you can turn when, like we just said, the law of polarity, opposites connect. If something can be negative, it also can, that same thing can also be positive. So that's where you would turn that negative situation and use your perception, the mental faculty called perception, to turn it positive. The thing about it is we're very different from animals. Animals don't have, they're enslaved to their instincts. Us as humans, we have what you call a consciousness, right? So we can control what we perceive as what and what things mean to us. Okay. That means anything that happens in our life, God is good every day. And you gotta understand how like blessed you actually are. You see what I'm saying? Like, say something, for example, you may go to school, right? And you got to wake up at 8 a.m. And you think that's a negative thing. It's so annoying. You hate waking up at 8 a.m. There's someone out there in the world, because there's 8 billion, that doesn't even have access to school. That was the same thing you're calling negative. To them, they would call a luxury. They would love to go to school. They probably don't even have a school to go wake up at 8 a.m. They can't even complain. So the fact that they would get a school, they will be happy. You see what I'm saying? So when you look at it from an outer like lens like that, and when you look at it like that, like nothing is really negative because there's someone out there that thing is very positive. It's only based off your perception. So with the law of polarity, you must use things that go on in your life and try to turn it positive. Anything that is negative in your life, you're gonna try to turn it positive, okay? Because like I said, opposites do connect. So when there's hot, there's cold. When there's good, there's bad. Always try to see how you can turn something good. And the thing about it is, for example, with this law, anything in my life now that's negative that's happening to me, I find a way to turn it positive. And that's why when you have a strong faith in what you believe in, you can always turn it positive. Anything you're going through now, if you know you're living your life goal oriented, genuine, and you know that you're living your life around your goals, you're being yourself, and you got that strong faith in God, you can always tell yourself whatever situation you're going right now and say, God's putting me through this, and he's putting me through this battles to give me character development so I can get to where I want to get to. And I'm gonna be happy for this situation. You see what I'm saying? For example, say like you go through a heartbreak, right? Say you're going through a heartbreak, right? It feels like the end of the world. It feels like, it's over. You're probably letting all these thoughts like she doesn't like me, I'm a loser, I'm this, I'm that, whatever. Okay. You can choose to believe those thoughts and look at it like that and so deep in your sorrow, or you can use the law of polarity and say, maybe this girl wasn't the woman for me. Maybe God had a different woman, a better woman for me that more suited me. And maybe God wanted me to get out of this situation so I can, work on myself, dive in myself, and find that woman. You see how when you change your perception on the situation, how what it means to you, your feelings can change. You know what I'm saying? And the whole point of this is to not let yourself fall into a negative frequency. When you have negative thoughts and you let those thoughts seep into your subconscious, you will start to feel bad. You will start to not want to do certain things because you're now in a negative frequency. You don't want to vibrate on a negative frequency. If you want to use the law of attraction to the best of its ability, you want to keep your thoughts positive and override your thoughts with positive thoughts. So only those can seep into your subconscious, and you can always operate on that frequency that's gonna attract the things that you want. You see what I'm saying? What you said the way you see shit really, yes, it does. What do you mean by live genuine? Live genuine as in be yourself. Be true to yourself, gang. You don't gotta be like, you ever meet someone, they trying to be like, they're trying to be a group, you're trying to be what's down or be like, for me, just try to fit it. No, gang, God got a plan for all. You can, I promise you being exactly you is enough. Learn what you like, what you don't like, what makes you you, and you be yourself, gang. For me, learn yourself and make decisions around yourself, gang. Once you know yourself, you're unstoppable. You're unstoppable. So you're like, that's what I mean by be genuine. Live goal orientated. Figure out your destination, what you want, what that finish line looks like, and be yourself. That's what be genuine is. Be yourself. Don't try to do other things because someone else is doing it. Be on your own path and be yourself, gang. The key is within you. Anyone watching this, you're player one. You only see reality through your lens, which means just like a game, you're player one, game. You're player one. You create the narrative. You talk to the characters. This is your story, and it's up to you. You're the key. You gotta flip that switch. So, hold on. Let me see something. I have something pulled up over here on the side as well. months in. So yeah, when you what you focus on actually grows as well. That's why with the law of polarity, it's been doing wonders for me as well. Because the same thing applied with your thoughts. Your thoughts are like a garden, right? If you have a negative thought, that's like a grass. That's like the thought. If you have a negative thought, right, that's like grass. If you interact with that thought, that's thinking. The thoughts you interact with grow. So you got to understand that. So if you use the law of polarity and only override your brain with positive thoughts, you will have be on a more positive frequency. You'll have more thoughts that correlate to that goal. You see what I'm saying? But if you and what you focus on will grow, like I said. But if you don't use law of polarity and you do more negative thoughts, you will operate off a negative frequency, and you will probably not, you feel me, want to do the thing that you got to do that's gonna lead to that reality you're trying to create. You see what I'm saying? So that's another one. So your perception really does matter, and this is what the law of polarity does. It makes your perception, makes you perceive things in a way that empower you. I try to perceive any situation that comes out of it, I get into. I ask myself, what could I have done to get the reality I wanted, and what can I take out the situation that's going to empower me and not take power away? You know what I'm saying? Because your thoughts can either empower you or they can take power away, and it's all a choice. It's a decision. We were gifted with the mental faculty of thinking, of having a consciousness. This is what separates us from animals. Animals are slaves to their instincts. We can think, and we choose what we believe in and what we don't believe in. So if you only have positive thoughts and you only have thoughts that empower you, you will be more inclined to have the law of attraction work in your favor and think on a frequency and operate on a frequency that brings you that opportunity and that wealth and whatever you want to your life. You know what I'm saying? Everything, there's a version of yourself out there that has everything you want. He has everything you want, and he made those right actions. The way to get to that version is to tap into that frequency. Try to think and be that person. Act like that person. If you could imagine it in your head, you can engrave it into your subconscious. Whatever's engraved into your subconscious becomes an unconscious activity. It will become an unconscious activity. So you can engrave habits in your subconscious. If you start keep acting like that person, it will be engraved into you. It will become your words will become your actions, and your actions make up your results. Always remember that. Always remember that. For me, it's very simple. Opposites connect. So if anything that has when there's love, there's hate. When there's good, there's bad. Always go to the positive. Always look at it from the positive lens rather than the negative lens. Anything that you can find negative in, I promise you can find positive in that as well. Use your perception to empower you, not take power away. Okay? Okay. That's the video. Type value, like the video, like, comment, subscribe. Hood Bob Product in the building, Shigulation Creator. And yeah, I'm gonna keep dropping this heat for y'all. For me, I think this is information that could help anyone. And since I started learning about the laws of the universe, and I started like getting closer to God, life has just been so good. My mental has been so great. I'm on day 151 of streaming every single day. And if you like content like this, come over to the stream. I do it live every day. I talk about this every day. This is my passion. I'm in love with the subconscious. For me, we don't know that much about it as a species. I'm trying to learn more, and I learn more every day. So let me like, comment, subscribe. I love you. All right, you get what I. All right.